All right, we are live now. So, what's up, everybody? We are with Peter Prue, entrepreneur, dropshipper, e-commerce expert. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm hoping I can shed some light and help some people out.
For sure, man. So, yeah, man. So for all the entrepreneurs out there, I found your content on like TikTok, YouTube, IG. You have a lot of platforms. You have your own podcast as well. So you're doing a lot. You have multiple
Mhm.
businesses. So like even before getting into like drop shipping, Shopify, like were you always like that sort of kid that was like hustling into entrepreneurship, or was there like a backstory to it?
Man, it's like it's a long backstory. I don't want to like take up too much time here, but like it's like in my blood borderline because, my parents came over here from Poland when they were, 16, 17 years old, didn't speak any English whatsoever. They had to be entrepreneurs. They didn't really have a choice, right? They had to, start their own businesses. My mom like started a bakery and then they got into like real estate and all these sorts of things. And, um, you know, it was one of those things that's interesting. And, a lot of people that have like parents from like overseas and they come to America, it's like the land of opportunity, right? They want a better life for their kids. And that's what my parents wanted. They really strive to, give me and my sisters like a better education. So we go to college and then we get a job. Like that's what they wanted, right? Even though like on the inside, like they were entrepreneurs, right? But it wasn't like a cool thing. Like nowadays it's like a cool thing, but like back in those days, it wasn't, right? You always wanted that safety and that security. My parents always wanted us to take kind of the safer route. But again, it was like in my blood from them, like, always like pushing to kind of like better themselves, start their own businesses. When I graduated, I did end up going to college, graduating college, getting a job. But I always had that knack to like do stuff, even as a kid, just like finding ways to make money, like selling stuff around my parents' house, like always just trying to figure something out. Right. And it was just like so motivating. And, in college, I really got my start in online businesses doing like affiliate marketing and stuff. Like my roommate at the time was, making a little bit of money, and I've never ever, like, I don't know about you, but like the first dollar you made online, it's just like the craziest thing. Cause it's like, how did I just do this? Right. It's just your world really opens up. And that's what it was for me. We were promoting different kinds of like blogs. And it was back then, like this was now, man, like 12, 13 years ago, man, like I'm getting old. But back then, like it was so easy to like manipulate Google search and stuff like that. So we were basically building out like blog posts and stuff like that, and then ranking them on Google and like making affiliate commissions. And man, I remember the first time because like my parents never understood like what the heck I was doing like in the marketing space or in like online business space. And I remember I didn't even have a bank account back then, man. And I literally got a check from this affiliate company for like $350 or something like that. And I had to give it to my mom to cash in. She's like, this looks like the fakest check ever. But it was actually real. And, that kind of like opened up my world to online businesses, got into starting to sell on Amazon after I graduated, had some great success there. It really, freed me, but, there was a lot of, cons to, going on Amazon. I'm not going to get into all that. Then getting into the Shopify world. And then really, my success really came, 6 years ago, when I discovered Clickfunnels, and using sales funnels as opposed to, like a storefront or Shopify or Amazon. And then also doing like monthly subscription plans, like getting people on some sort of, monthly subscription, getting them billed automatically on a monthly basis. So that's kind of like 10, 12 years collapsed into, 30 seconds.
So it was like in college where you got introduced to like affiliate marketing, because before that you said you were still entrepreneurial, you had that DNA entrepreneurial mindset, and you would
Mm.
just sell things, right? But you didn't really like utilize like, was there eBay at that time or Amazon or what?
So before affiliate marketing,
Yeah.
so before that, I really never did anything in online business. It was more so like, well, yeah, like I guess like eBay and stuff like that. Craigslist, yeah, like those kind of platforms were used. But it was mainly like as a kid, just, like, I don't know if, when you were, a kid selling in school, but like I was so competitive with like little things that had to do with like the entrepreneurship. Like, I don't know if your school ever made you do this when you were in like grade school, selling like those candy bars and stuff like that,
Yeah.
going door to door. So like that kind of stuff I took like extremely seriously for a kid. That's where I really, kind of had that itch, like knowing that there's something more there. Right. But it wasn't until I really, went to college, got a job, was doing like internships in college at IC, I was like, man, this is definitely not for me. Like being, working full time, going to a cubicle. And I'm not knocking, there's some entrepreneurs out there that'll knock like the 9 to 5 and stuff like that. No, it just wasn't for me. Obviously there's always going to be more people working 9 to 5s than not working 9 to 5s. And stability and, it gives you a good routine for a lot of people, but that's where for me, I discovered, I was like, man, like that is not for me. And that's when I started getting into like, how do I, create some sort of, money for myself, like online, right? Like back then, like, nowadays you're flooded with ads and shit like that, like for courses and mentorships and stuff. But back then it wasn't really like that. It was really, it's like random websites on the internet that you can kind of piece things together. That's kind of where I really got started, was doing like Amazon. Man, like when I got started with Amazon, it was like the wild, wild west back then, right? They were trying to get everybody on their platform. The rules were much easier to break. It was a lot easier to get started on Amazon back then as well. So that was kind of where I started getting my feet wet with like my whole e-commerce journey.
So you think you were like one of the first people, like you had that first mover's advantage to get into like affiliate marketing, Amazon, and those sorts of platforms? Because like right now, like a lot of people are talking about it. They have like their own courses or, their own brands of like just targeted towards that. But like, I think like back then I wasn't really like mindful of that. I didn't really know all too much about Amazon and affiliate marketing. But I think like you definitely had that first mover's advantage. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. You'll have that. It's like evolution, right? It's business, right? You can't do the same things that you were doing last year. Well, even last year. I mean, things change a little, I guess, a little bit slower than that. But like, things that worked when I was getting started in Amazon don't really work like that anymore, right? We're moving towards more of a like not necessarily economy, but like, people are growing numb to so much of the stuff out there. So you have to really, you have to put in a lot of work if you're trying to start your own business right now. And it's not necessarily, it has to be like hard work, but it has to be more like customer focused work, right? A lot of people, especially people getting into drop shipping, Shopify, Amazon, right? Everyone's out looking for their best interest, right? Which is fine, right? Everyone wants to make money for themselves, right? At the end of the day, like, and 10 years ago, you could go online and just like put random blog posts, don't really care about the content, and you still make money. You can't do that anymore. Right now, it's all about like figuring out ways, like how do I differentiate my product, right? How do I differentiate my business so the customer chooses to buy from me? Like most people that are getting into, especially e-commerce right now, are going to struggle because when I have a conversation with most of them, it's like, okay, well, why should somebody buy from you instead of going to purchase it from Amazon, right? And if you can't answer that question, right, you're going to fight an uphill battle, right? And it doesn't have to be some unique Shark Tank product idea by any means, but you could see some of the big e-commerce brands that like kind of exploded. They always had some sort of like brand story. There was some sort of brand mission behind them. It wasn't necessarily like value as in like, oh, here's, I'm giving you, $100 worth of products for, $20, right? It's not always like that. It's about, why are those people, buying from you, right? There usually is some sort of underlying reason. Easy things like, I mean, just look at like Tom's shoes, right? Like they kind of like pioneered the whole, kind of donation aspect to business. Hey, you buy a pair of shoes, we give a pair of shoes to people in need. Same thing with, what was it? That sock company, Bonobos, right? They get away with, charging $80 or something crazy for a pair of socks. Right. And it's not like value. I mean, you could go get 100 pairs of socks for $80, but it's like the feeling and the reason for people to buy from it. It doesn't always have to be like the value. Right. So I think that's where we're moving for people that want to get into business right now. This is why I always tell people, start a business around something you kind of enjoy, something maybe you have a hobby around. It doesn't have to be something you're super passionate about, but like you're going to fight an uphill battle if you try and start a business around something that you don't know the customers about. Really, it comes down to, hey, who do you understand who you're selling to, right? The customers, right? A lot of people think they need, a winning product or winning whatever, right? It's not that, right? Find a niche that you want to sell stuff to, right? Identify those people, right? And just research them. The market research is the most important part of this. If you look at some of the biggest companies out there, right, they have full like teams of people that just do market research. They're not going out there trying to find winning products, right? They're out there trying to find market research. Where's this industry going? How can we add more value to get those people to buy from us? So, anybody that's trying to start a business right now, that's where you have to come from. You have to focus on providing more value to your customers, giving them a reason to actually buy from you. And that's going to completely set you apart from pretty much all the other noise that's out there right now.
So from the beginning, like when you first started, it was a lot easier to get those conversions, but now you kind of have to adapt and create like a brand story or create a brand around your business to really increase your sales. If not,
You
you
don't need, I'm not going to say that you can't get away with it. You absolutely can. Like you could put, like people are making a lot of money just throwing random stores up there, funnels, and making money. But it's like, for me, I'd rather people build something that can last a few years, if not, 10, 20 years, not something that's just going to make you money for, a couple months. Right. So yeah, you can, people, I know a lot of people that, do the whole, trends, right? They find like a winning t-shirt design or a winning gadget, like a fidget spinner, right? And they'll sell the crap out of it. And that's fantastic, right? That's not the kind of business that I want to be in. That's not usually what I recommend people do. If that's your business, that's not a problem, whatever. Again, I'm not here to tell people exactly, that, this is just what I've done, right? I want to focus on, providing value to people, building something a little bit more longer term, not something that's like, oh wait, where's my next winning product going to come from,
And that's what you did for like for your product or your brand, Untapped Focus, right?
Mm-hmm.
You kind of like, was that like a passion or a really strong interest that you had, kind of like making sure that your mind was focused, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
throughout the whole day, so you can like work optimally?
Yeah, so this is not something I get to talk about a lot, but like Untapped, I've always like before I even preface this, like I've always wanted to start a supplement business, right? That was just always something I wanted to do, and I finally had the opportunity to start developing this about, man, like I'm really giving it thought 3 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. I kind of documented a little bit of what I was doing initially on my YouTube channel. But there's just, it really is like a whole different ball game than drop shipping. Like when you're getting into supplements, like this is stuff people are consuming, right? There's a lot of legalities that go into it. It's not about just, oh, I want to launch a supplement, I'm just going to go sell supplements. It's not that quick. It took me a year just working with our supplier to kind of get exactly what I wanted right. Right. And there's a lot of approval processes that need to go into it with the nutrition labels, the labels in general, the marketing that you're allowed to do, payment processors. There's a little bit more stuff that goes into it, but it was always a passion that I wanted to do. It's always been, for me, the idea came from me always taking a bunch of different products in the morning. All right. So I always used to drink coffee, take different kinds of like pre-workouts, and I drink them kind of all, in the morning time. And I was like, wait, why don't I just like create something that like mixes all of this into one product? Right. And that's where it came from. Right. And I encourage people to do that. Think about things like if you need a product idea, think about solving your own problems. I always encourage people, if you should be your own best customer, right? Like over there is like, I mean, there's like 15 bottles of Untappd. They're all empties, right? Those are all empty bottles that I've taken. Like I literally haven't skipped a day of taking it in like 2 years. So I encourage people, like, see what problems you have, right? Like what kind of things can you kind of cut out and create your own? And, you never know what can come of it. Right. And you'll enjoy doing it, whether you maybe struggle with it or you have an amazing success with it. Right. I always encourage people, have fun doing your business. This is something you don't want to go and create yourself another 9-to-5 job, but you try to kind of, going into every single day. So yeah.
Wait, so did you have to formulate it yourself?
Yeah. So this was you don't have to, there are companies out there that you can go and just white label, right? So there's like, different kinds of nootropics. You can go out there and you can literally just type this into Google, nootropic manufacturer, and you could just design a quick label, and then they'll ship it to your customers. Drop shipping. They'll drop ship it for you. But for me, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something kind of like custom formulation to be exactly what I wanted it to be.
And
Right.
like, how many iterations did it take to get that? Like, okay, this is gonna work. I like it. I want to put it to market now.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I remember when I first, so we had a few. So the way it kind of worked was with my supplier, they sent me like 6 different variations of it, right? And they showed up in my house, and it wasn't in the bottle. It just was in the shadiest little zipper plastic bag. And like my wife looked at it, I was like, wait, you're gonna drink that? And I was like, I guess I'm gonna drink that, right? Because it was just no label, nothing. So it was like super shady. So yeah, it took about I kind of had the ingredients that I wanted into it. And you can check out, obviously, if you guys want to check it out, just go to untappedfocus.com. What I did is I went and looked at the supplements that I was taking at the time, right? And I just picked out, and it was literally a few. There was like 3 or 4 that I was taking. I took those supplement labels, right? And I said, hey, to my supplier, I was like, hey, I want to get like the best ingredients out of each of these, right? And combine them into, I don't want all of them. I just want the best ones that help, increase focus, clarity, energy, right? And then the supplier, well, they're like, they have like the team in there with like the scientists and stuff who are able to formulate this for you, was able to take those labels and create my own unique version, right? And I encourage people to do that. If you're doing supplements, like look at some of the ones that you're already taking and then create your own version of that, right? It's not plagiarizing. You're literally just taking the best pieces of things that are already working for you and then just creating something better, right? So that's exactly what I did. It took about, 6 to 7, variations between them, but we already knew kind of what we wanted in them. It was more like getting like the flavor right that we were trying to get right. Cause I didn't want to load it up with like, one of the things that was very important to me is like I fast every day. So I didn't want something that broke my fast. I wanted something with 0 sugar, 0 carbs, 0 fat, like nothing pretty much in it. And that's much more difficult to do without putting like a whole bunch of weird artificial sweeteners in it. So that was kind of like the difficult part to kind of nail down.
Yeah. I feel like when you have like your own product and you have your own iterations, like you might not like have more iterations, but you don't know when that right exact time. Like you kind of like basically what I'm trying to say is like you kind of like sometimes overdo it because maybe the product is ready to launch, but you want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
It may not be the case because like maybe like manufacturing errors or like you may
A
not.
lot of people make that mistake, man. Like that's a huge one. It's like especially if you're getting started in business for the first time, is like overthinking things and thinking everything needs to be perfect before you launch something, right? That's why I still encourage people to start with drop shipping because it's a lowest risk, lowest cost. Yeah, there's a lot of, there's cons to it, but still it's like a good thing to try out for yourself before like sourcing and branding your own inventory. But like some people will just overthink things, think things need to be perfect. Like to me, data is king. Like just get something out there as quickly as possible, see what's working, see what's not, right? Don't worry about you. Like we'll have people be like, hey man, funnels don't work. Funnels don't work. They've never used a funnel at all. They're like, oh, it looks, the pages look all, spammy, scammy. It can't work. There's no way, right? But if you don't have data to back up those things, like you can't even have like an educated discussion, So like, remember, don't be one of those people that's like super emotional about things. Like test things out for yourself, prove yourself wrong or prove yourself right, whatever it might be. Right. But like I will split test everything. Right. And before I say, oh, there's no way that'll work. Right. Just test it. Always be testing. That's like the name of the game here.
Mm-hmm. So did you have multiple businesses that did not like turn out well, that you just failed?
Yeah, I mean, I've sold, like I said, I've sold so much stuff. I've sold, camping stuff. Not that, there were some stuff that didn't work, of course. Like, I'm not going to say that every single business that I launched was successful by no means. However, each one of those taught me something different. Like when I first got into funnels, like nobody was doing e-commerce and sales funnels, right? So there was so many learning curves along the way. Right. There was a lot of testing and tweaking because a lot of people were selling like, information products, coaching and stuff with sales funnels primarily. And there were people obviously selling like supplements with it. But, at that time, I didn't have the money necessarily to invest in it. It's a little bit more expensive to launch a supplement with like development costs and inventory costs. But yeah, I mean, I've sold a ton of fishing lures, sold 7 figures worth of fishing lures in itself, had a big fishing subscription business where people were getting just fishing lures each and every single month. I think at its peak at like 2,500. Man, that's been so long now, 2,500 monthly subscribers. I used to sell a lot of different kinds of camping kind of products. I've always been into the outdoors stuff. Not that I'm like outdoors that often, but I've always found those have been, pretty easier to sell products. There's not a lot of brand loyalty in like the outdoor, outdoor kind of like sports. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I had a lot of, bumps and bruises along the way. There definitely wasn't like, a straight line for me. Like I said, I was like 13 years before I got to this point. But, I wouldn't change it for the world. I know there's a lot of people that go out there first month, just absolutely crush it. It was definitely not me by any means. And that's just like another testament to everybody that's listening is like, you're on your own path, right? There's no like, this isn't a get rich quick thing. Unfortunately, like maybe back in the day you could like make a whole bunch of money, doing some shady stuff. But like, unfortunately now it's, you really, you're on your own path. Yes, some people are going to crush it, but I'm telling you, 99% of people don't. So you want to focus on your own path and don't think like, hey, there's no way that you can do it, right? It might take you a year, it might take you 10 years, but as long as you don't give up, you're making progress.
Yeah. Wait, so just going back to when you were in college, so you never had a full-time like 9 to 5 job, right? You kind of just went, you scaled your affiliate marketing businesses, created new businesses, and you're on your own, or did you get?
No, so I was working as an intern for a few years right after college, but really I was mainly putting my focus full time on my online businesses.
Okay. And I have to ask, are those awards in the back the Clickfunnel Awards?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so those are all like the first one. I don't know which one's that. I think I have one of those is for or two of them. I'm not trying to like say we have a lot of these. We already have a lot of these. But one of them is for my first business, my fishing business. Our goal right now, they have a 2CCX one, which we're hoping to hit here within the year. So.
Wait, so how does that work? Like, do you have to like have ClickFunnels in your business, and then they kind of track down how many sales or conversions you're getting, and they send you an award?
Yeah. So each of the plaques is if you hit $1 million in a funnel, right? So if you hit $1 million funnel, I have a couple partners, so those are all duplicates. I still owe them as well. But yeah, it's basically $1 million in a funnel. They go into your accounts, verify that it's legit, and then they send you a cool award. And then they have multiple tiers now, which is crazy. I mean, they have a $10 million award, which is $10 million through one funnel. They have 25 million, 50 million. I think they go up to 100 million now, which is why I'm telling people it's like, I'm all for Shopify and stuff, but like really look at how many average people, I'm not saying the whole ClickFunnels community is average, but there's nobody in there that's, some big celebrity or has some massive following. They grew to that point, right? When I look at a lot of Shopify sellers, right, who's really crushing it on Shopify? A lot of them are going to be, influencers, right? People that they can send their customers anywhere and they're going to make a whole ton of money, right? So, focus, the reason the funnels work so well, as opposed to like a typical storefront, it's very guided, right? And it builds assets for a business, right? With a funnel, you're not sending to like a store where there's a ton of different products. You're focusing on one specific good product, right? So you're like with a funnel, you send them to get their email address first, right? And that's a huge thing, right? A lot of people don't focus on building their email list. They think, hey, nobody reads their emails anymore. It is not true, okay? Build your email list. It's literally a list that you can then sell stuff on demand. And then obviously having the one-click upsells, one-click subscription, all of that comes right out, right in the box with ClickFunnels. So that's why I encourage people to use it. For me, I'm not like a big proponent of, the tactics will change, right? The strategies won't, right? It's ClickFunnels today that's working really well, but I don't know in a year from now, 2 years from now, will there be, another software? So don't become obsessed with the software, be more focused on the strategy, right? Because the strategies won't change, right? The tactics, the software, like those kind of things, they will change over time.
So are ClickFunnels like the bread and butter to like selling your products on like from your sites? But do you also use like Instagram and Facebook ads?
Mm-hmm. That's so ClickFunnels is the site that you build your entire websites on, right? So it's the pages, the upsell pages, subscription, it's landing pages, right? We primarily advertise through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube ads. I mean, there's so many advertising platforms out there. Which is a whole topic for another day. Is like a lot of people think that traffic's their issue, but it's not. Any one of us can get traffic, right? You just pay one of these providers, but to be able to convert that traffic profitably, that's a whole different game. And that's why you need a sales funnel in place. You need to be, creating assets for your business, pixeling people, retargeting people, and the funnel makes that, a lot easier to do.
So after affiliate marketing, like when did you get introduced to ClickFunnels? Was it during the same time of affiliate marketing with your friend back in college?
So yeah, so it's a bit of a long story, but no. So ClickFunnels, I was already working kind of full time at this time, and I was in a mastermind community. And my businesses were doing well. I just wasn't making a lot of money with them. Not enough to like comfortably quit my job. Like at that time, I probably could have quit my job and been fine, but it would have been a struggle, that's for sure. So I was doing both. I was on a conference call with our mastermind group at the time. And this was 5-6 years ago at this point. And there was a company coming on, and that mastermind was all e-commerce sellers, by the way. And there was a company came online to demo their new software, and that was Clickfunnels, right? They came in, showed like how this works for e-commerce, and nobody in that group like saw the power of it, right? Like nobody, and I was like, wait, like it was so weird, like how it opened up my mind to a new way of selling, right? It didn't make sense. That's why, I encourage people like check out like what a sales funnel is. Obviously, Clickfunnels has a ton of good information out there too, because it'll really open up your minds to how to actually sell products, profitably online, as opposed to just, sending them to a page where it's not developed to like, create an asset and then upsell them. And then, obviously, that's how you turn $1 into 10 every time a customer comes in. You can't do that with a normal storefront. And that's when I started putting in those funnels into the businesses I had. And that's where I was able to quit my job at that point. Right. But I wasn't before that. The subscription really saves me. I know we didn't really talk about that a lot, but the subscription is so important to have to every business. I would not start a business if I didn't have subscription. I would never. I mean, anybody that comes to me has an idea. I'm like, what's the subscription? Because that's what's going to be able to get you paid, right? When you're advertising, let's say you're selling fishing lures or whatever you're selling, you can't rely on first-time sales anymore, right? There's not enough margin in there after advertising costs, after product costs. All right, you need something on the back end of your business for people to join and continue to get rebuilt. Right? Picture having, I was just working with one of our students that we manage their business for, 100 people. Right? He's got 100 people on his subscription, right? And that's low. That's not a lot of people for his niche, but that equals $30,000 a year for free. He doesn't have to. He could stop advertising everything, but that's an extra $30,000 for his business, right? And one rule of thumb: always keep your subscription at 50% margins. That's what's going to let you get paid, right? So remember, have upsells in there, but the key is don't start a business without subscription. I mean, for my supplement, it's easy. Hey, it's get a discounted bottle every single month, right? If you look at, I mean, it's everywhere around us. I mean, subscription, it's so important. I can't even stress it. I mean, look at Disney Plus, right? Look at them. They pretty much, went all in on their Disney Plus, subscription platform, right? We're all probably subscribed to more things than we know with subscription. I mean, I get a toothbrush and batteries delivered to me like every couple months from this company called Quib. I mean, Amazon Prime. I mean, there's so many out there, and there's subscription boxes, like physical products for everything. Right. So you have to be doing the same for your business. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's information products only, like a Beachbody where they give you access to like training and stuff like that, or, physical products every single month, you think through it. You've got to have it. I mean, there's not a business that I've seen that you can't add subscription in, but that's like my biggest piece of advice I can give to anybody listening is it's not about that first sale you make. It's all about the back end sales, right? It's very difficult right now to be profitable in a business if all you do is rely on first-time sales, right? You need to have a back end of your business. You need to be upselling your customers. You need them on that monthly subscription, selling them more premium price stuff on the back end. That's where you're going to make most of your revenue from.
That's going to be like the focal point, the subscription business for any business.
Any business. I mean, it's any business. It's crazy because I see, people that, they'll be crushing it with their business. And most people in e-commerce, they complain about margins, right? They're like, oh, my margins suck. But that's because like they're only selling, like they have a Shopify store. They send it to a product page for, let's say, a $20 product, but it costs you $15 or even $10. Let's say, I'll be generous here, $10 to acquire that customer. They come and buy your $20 product. Then once you put in your product costs and advertising costs and shipping costs, right, you're left with like $1. Right. And the thing is, like most people in dropshipping and e-commerce, they think, oh, my problems will be solved if I just drive more traffic and make more sales. It's not going to help. You'll get out, 100 customers and you made $300, right? But what if you had set up some sort of subscription in there, right? Or upsells where your customer can join a monthly subscription plan, right? One customer can be worth, tens of thousands of dollars with you if they spend, years with you. Even if they spend 6 months, it's worth it. Right? And more so than just subscription, making sure you're upselling your customers immediately after they buy. So if they come in, buy a $20 product, right after they buy, have some sort of one-click upsells in there as well that bill them right away if they say yes. So let's say they want to, you're selling a fishing lure, right? Sell them more fishing lures. They just told you they want more, they're into fishing lures. So sell them more fishing lures and it's all one click. That's why I love funnels. There's no cart pages. There's no checkout pages. It's all seamless. If they click yes, the card gets automatically billed. If they say no, right? And obviously be ethical here. If they say no, they won't get billed. And then you can also do that same thing with one click into subscription as well.
So I think it's all about like convenience, kind of like with Amazon. Like now you can like literally buy with like sliding the slider on the app. It's all about convenience,
Exactly. Yeah.
efficiency.
Convenience, and also making sure that the product matches what, they actually want, right? And the easiest way to do this is just go look at what's frequently bought together with Amazon. Like that's the easiest one. They give you so much data on Amazon. So if you don't know what to upsell your customers or anything like that, just go to what's frequently bought together on an Amazon listing, similar to what you're selling, and upsell that. It's very, very simple.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think like Amazon, you can use it as like a search engine, right?
Oh, I do. I mean, I heavily use Amazon. I don't recommend people sell on it. It's crazy. Like some of these, I definitely recommend you guys read like the Everything Store. It's like a Jeff Bezos, not written by Jeff Bezos, but it's like his autobiography, some people say. But it just shows you like, inside the mind of Amazon, right? And a lot of people, I feel like they fall, and I'm not trying to offend anybody that sells on Amazon. I used to sell on Amazon. I lost an amazing business. I was doing like 50 grand a month on it. But you have to remember whose playground you're in, right? You don't control Amazon, right? At the end of the day, they want to build their own business, right? And they're going to do whatever it takes. In the past, 5-6 years, probably more now, they've launched their Amazon Basics, right? They have like 2,500, 3,000 products on there. Do you know those products are all the best sellers for all their categories?
Yeah,
So
there's like a lot of people are complaining about that because like their business, they're losing business basically,
Amazon, when they like, I had so many friends, and I feel bad because it's crazy. It's like always an uphill battle with Amazon, and a lot of people don't realize that they like, and because they get sold on this, right? It's like, you see a lot of these ads for Amazon, they kind of frustrate me because they're like, oh, get a piece of the $1 trillion Amazon pie. It's not that easy, right? Selling on Amazon, like if they, even in the book, that's why I encourage you guys, read that book, The Everything Store. Like Amazon says they actively are monitoring all the best selling products on their catalog, right? It's called the bestseller rank. You could see that too, right? Your competition, go see how well you're selling on Amazon and launch similar products. Now, if Amazon sees, which they did, that's why they launched like batteries and 2,500 different kinds of products. And when you search that product now, you think they're going to list like Duracell or Energizer first. No, they're going to put their product first, right? And they have so many different kinds of products. I mean, it's insane. And they rank, of course, they're going to rank themselves first. The day they launch, they'll rank themselves first, right? Remember, that is their playground. I'm not saying don't sell on Amazon. I plan to launch my supplement on Amazon, but it's not going to be my main source of traffic and sales. I want to control my own traffic and sales, and then only use Amazon as an additional sales channel. So if I, do lose my Amazon account, right, it's not gonna completely ruin the business, right? So focus on taking control of your own business first, your own assets, your own customers. And I mean, this is proven time and time again. If anyone that's selling on Amazon, you don't have access to any of your customer, emails or anything like that, right? They're not going to give you that information. There's a reason for it. Because remember, that customer is not your customer. That is Amazon's customer. Most of these people that think they have some, Amazon brand, fantastic. You're making a whole bunch of money, but like, your customer, if you're wearing on Amazon, they're not going to go and actively find you because they probably don't have any of that brand loyalty, right? They're buying you just based on convenience, right? And you don't want people just buying based on convenience for you. You want people buying from you for the value that you're giving them.
Yeah, you can't be at the mercy of like one platform. And I think that's a good move that you're doing. Like, yes, you have it on Amazon, but you also have it on your own site as well to sell.
You absolutely have to.
Yeah. So how important is like automation to you? Because you said you do a lot of tests to see what ClickFunnels work, what ads don't work, what if you use Facebook Pixel, like, you do a lot of analysis. Like, how important is automation to you? And do you have like a team to help you with that?
Yeah, I mean, we have a huge team here. I mean, we've got like, combined like 20 people, on our team, which is, it gets kind of crazy. Sometimes I think I'm like, wow, like what happened, but it's awesome. But yeah, you need a team. You got to be focused on what you do best. Right. I have a, I forget who said this quote. I'm not going to say it's mine. I don't know who said it. But if you want to say it's mine, that's all good. But man, how'd it go? Do what you do best and outsource the rest. It was something like that. So do what you do best in your business and outsource the rest of your business. Now, as far as automation goes, of course you can automate pretty much. E-commerce it's a very easy business model. It's not like some super complex thing. It's very easy to automate, like customer service, order fulfillment, all that stuff. where the hard stuff is going to happen is, and this is from what I've seen, is, you know, going from like a $25,000 per month business to like $100,000 per month business. That's where a lot of people will never get to that level. And that's where you're going to really need to become a CEO, somebody that can bring in and put people in the right spots, because you're not going to be able to run your own ads. You're not going to be able to split test all the different copy and creative it takes to be successful at Facebook ads, right? You're going to need to bring in people, right? And that's where most people, you know, they struggle, because most people that get into online business, they're not CEOs. They're not real entrepreneurs. They're people that, you know, they're just looking for extra money. Not a problem with that.
So they don't put money back in the business, right?
And you have to be comfortable with that. What people don't understand is they think that all their problems are going to go away when you make, you know, $100,000 a month. It doesn't, right? Your margins start shrinking drastically once you start getting to like even $500,000 a month. I can tell you, or your margins start going down a lot, right? Because you're hiring more teams, you're reinvesting more back into advertising, right? You're doing a lot more, right? You have a lot more costs, right? So you have to make that decision. You have to make that decision. Hey, do I want something like that? Do I want to have the stress of, you know, people that rely on me, right? Or do I just want to stay at the $10,000 per month level, right? And live comfortably, right? It's totally up, it's totally up to you. But, you know, as far as like split tests and stuff go, you know, Clickfunnels does make it easy to split test like headlines and pretty much anything you need. As far as like Facebook ads, yes. I mean, you have to be testing a lot. I mean, copy, creative, audiences. I mean, it's crazy. You need somebody in there every single day. Like we have people that are dedicated just to our Facebook ads, our YouTube ads, like everything in between there. And you just have to focus on what you want to actually do in your business, right? Do you want to be the person that writes the copy? Maybe that's something you enjoy doing, right? So that should be all you do. You do, right? Maybe you're the person that likes to, you know, shoot content, right? That's all you should do, right? When I first started e-commerce empire builders, like I didn't know it was going to blow up. Like I only did it just to document what I was doing in my e-commerce businesses. Like you can, if you want a good laugh, go look at some of the old YouTube videos. I mean, it's like, you know, me in like a hoodie, just like, you know, just like talking all quietly and just sharing my screen and stuff. And then, you know, it blew up, right? It blew up into something pretty big with, you know, a lot of people on the team. And I can tell you, like, there's no way I would have the time to be able to manage that. So, you know, especially for e-commerce empire builders, I leverage my team tremendously. The only thing I do really with e-commerce empire builders is I shoot content, because I know at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? The content, putting out content out there, and, you know, the rest of it, you know, they take the video, they make it a podcast, they put it in Instagram, they do all the other stuff with it, right? But, you know, it's impossible. You're not going to get to that level by yourself, right? Like ever. So, you know, it's important to leverage your team, you know, grow into it. You know, the first things I always recommend people kind of like, you know, outsource and like automate is the customer service, the order fulfillment. But, you know, this is not a business that you're never, you know, a lot of people talk about like this automation stuff, which is just, it's ridiculous. But, you know, you shouldn't want a business you're trying to run away from, right? Like you should want a business that you want to actively have a say in. If you're trying to find a business that's just, you know, and again, guys, use your common sense. If somebody comes to you and says, hey, do you want a completely hands-free business built for you, and all you do is collect money, please run the other way. Like that doesn't exist, guys. Like, come on. And I see so many people fall for this kind of stuff. Business takes work. Business takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. Yes, you can hire coaches, take courses. I mean, I spent probably like $100,000 a year just on my education. I mean, I read like pretty much 2-3 books a week. I definitely encourage you to take courses, you know, hire good people, mentors, people to surround yourself with. But understand, like business, you're not going to automate it to the point where you're sitting on the beach doing nothing. You'll have those moments, which are great, but you shouldn't be building something that you want to, you know, run away from, right? You can automate it with good people and have a lot of freedom. Like, you know, my daughter was recently born, and I was like so thankful. I was just talking to my one of my team members today, and I was just so thankful that I'm like, man, I get to, you know, yes, I'm still having to do my business and stuff, but like, I don't have to go to a 9 to 5. I don't have to report to anybody. I get to, you know, go upstairs and hang out with my wife and kid for a little bit, like any time of day that I want. And that for me is what I've always wanted in my life. Right. Of course, now you want more because we're human beings. You're always trying to go for that next level. But yeah, I encourage people to focus on like building something for yourself, something that you enjoy, and not something that you're trying to run away from. So
Yeah.
sorry for the super long-winded answer right there. I don't even know what you asked.
So is your strong point like the ClickFunnels, or is it like now like the managing of like your team and businesses?
Oh, man, like it's changed so much, man. It really has. Like over 2 years ago, if you asked me, I loved building funnels. I absolutely loved it. I loved creating offers and stuff like that, but it's impossible for me to do that anymore. Right. It really is. That's why I have a lot of people on the team that, I oversee what they're doing, right, before anything gets put out. I've been over these past, especially over this past year, really trying to just develop more of of a kind of like a real structured business, right? A CEO, Jeff Bezos doesn't know everything that's going on in his business, right? Of course, he understands it, but he has different tiers and different departments. I mean, he has 800,000 people work for Amazon or something crazy like that, right? So, relying on people, putting people in the proper places, people that you trust, and that's what I've been really focusing on in this past year. Would I say it's my strong suit? No. I love shooting content. I love building funnels. I love building offers. It's still something I'm pretty heavily involved in on a day-to-day basis because it's like the stuff I enjoy doing. But I know if I want to take my businesses to the next level, I can't do that, right? I can't be the one, right, like in there, building funnels and stuff like that.
Yeah. So how does like your portfolio look like? Do you have like multiple businesses that you're running?
Yeah, so I have, man, I did. It's funny. I shot a video kind of showing everything that I have, and how I'm structuring. Because when you get to the level, and I hope everyone gets to this level, and it's by no means, I'm not somebody that ever like shares how much money I have and stuff like. I hate when people do that. I'm not somebody like that at all. But when you get to levels where you do have money, it's all about then protecting your money, right? There's an amazing quote. Again, don't know who it says, so don't quote me on this. It's I think it was like Robert Kiyosaki, but he basically said, "Own everything and own nothing, but control everything." Right. So looking at that from a business perspective, right, especially if you're trying to say taxes are going to be your biggest killer in business, right? So structuring your business in ways where you can actually pay yourself the least amount of money, reinvesting as much of those profits back into business and other cash producing assets. So I have a couple different businesses. Obviously I have my e-commerce businesses. I have, real estate. I have an affiliate marketing business. I have my obviously coaching business. What else are we setting up? I'm setting up an insurance business right now. So there's like a lot of businesses that I have. And a lot of them, they communicate with each other, right? So a sales business. So they communicate with each other, and I encourage people to do that, right? You don't, and this is like a huge tax tip. You want to, a lot of people, like, they don't even have like LLCs and stuff set up. All right, do it immediately. Never pay yourself directly. Like, even if you're just doing affiliate marketing, right, and you're do not pay yourself that money directly, right? You're going to have to pay a huge amount of income tax on that, right? So focus on keeping your money circulating in your businesses, right? Have it reinvesting, right? So if I'm making, a whole bunch of money from my e-commerce business, I'm not going to just take that money out and like buy a Lambo, right? I'm going to focus on like, hey, how can I take that money, reinvest it into my, insurance business, or how do I invest that into, my real estate business, right? And these businesses, they can take loans out from each other, and you can reinvest those profits back into something that, is going to create you more freedom, and that's the kind of stuff that I really enjoy doing. Of course I buy myself some nice things, but I prefer to, kind of like see what I can build. Right. So I encourage, that's a very high level discussion. What I was just talking about, but, focus, my first two businesses I always recommend somebody start an e-commerce business, make money with it, and then start an affiliate marketing business, because you can sell your affiliate products to your e-commerce business owners. Right. And it's very important to understand that, like, there's so many affiliate products out there that you can sell to your current customers, right, that people will pay you to promote to their list. And then you have essentially two businesses that kind of are working in unison and making you money. After that, you can go, real estate's a little bit slower, but then you can, reinvest back into real estate and, doing some more of the other exciting stuff.
Mm-hmm. So you've been in the game for quite some time now. Like, where do you think got you to like that next step of like you said, like saying going from like $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month, and then moving on to another business, going into real estate? Like what made you go to that next step? Like, how did you develop into like an SEO?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was, I don't think there was ever like one specific moment that it happened. It was more so, finally realizing that, even though you in your business, you're always going to be the one that cares the most, right? Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever kind of online business you have, like, but you have to learn to let go. You have to learn to let go and understand that, hey, you know what? In order for you to go to the next level, you need to learn to trust people, even though that person, probably isn't going to do it as well as you, right? But they'll eventually develop the skills to. A lot of people get frustrated when they hire somebody because they're not as good as them right away, but it takes time to develop those people. For me, to get to the next level, you're not going to be able to get to the next level by yourself, right? So hiring a team, right? Obviously spending more money on advertising, reinvesting more money in your business. We live in a culture where people want to buy things to impress people that they don't even know, right? So focus on, instead of taking money out of your business, right? Even if you have a 9 to 5 job right now, fantastic, right? That means you have a safety net, right? It's like you reinvest like all of your money back into your business, right? Like go all in on it. That's what I recommend, right? Try and get as many customers as possible for your e-commerce business, launch more products, launch more offers, then move on, after you kind of can, semi-automate it in a sense, like getting into the more CEO role, then move on to something else. The reason I suggest e-commerce and affiliate marketing is you don't need a huge team to do both of those, right? You don't need a huge team because they work very closely together.
Mm-hmm. So, and you also like you're a coach, you're a mentor, you help a lot of people with their own businesses, right? And that came from, like you said, when you started your e-com empire, like that just scaled up. You didn't expect that to, right? And
Yeah.
a
So
lot of
yeah,
people
we
saw.
started e-commerce empire builders, and I didn't have courses or anything like that. When I started it, for the first like 100, 200 videos I put out, I had nothing to sell people,
Mhm.
right? We've kind of transitioned to more from, we do have courses and stuff like now, like self-study programs, but we're moving more towards a service-based business. And the reason I do that is because, a lot of people, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, of course. A lot of people will go through buy a course but not do anything with it.
Mhm.
Right? They'll get a course, they'll get excited about it, which is fantastic. I put my, like the academy, we redo it pretty much like every year, every other year, and we put a lot of effort into it to make it like an evergreen training program. I don't have like 20 different courses like you see with these people. I only have one program. It's the academy. Like that's it, right? That's the only one. And we spend so much time I don't know how people can have more than one course if they have one. I mean, it just takes so much time to keep it updated. But we're moving more towards a service-based business where we do a lot of the work for people, right? So we have different kinds of services that we offer where we'll manage people's Facebook ads, we'll manage your graphics. Let's say you need graphics or video ads or whatever it might be, right? You want a funnel built, right? You want to leverage our team that we have here to kind of help build your e-commerce business or your e-commerce sales funnels in multiple different aspects, from the graphics to the copy to the emails, right? You can do so. So we recently kind of like started doing that over the past, 6 months, and it's worked out really well. People are really happy about it because, again, it's, we're doing a lot of the heavy lifting, right? So, there's, lots of different kinds of graphics that go into a funnel. Instead of making somebody go and try and find somebody on Fiverr or something like that, why don't we just open up our team to have that do that for you, since we already have that experience, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you want us to build a funnel for you? Okay, cool. We can build a funnel for you. And all the stuff that goes into that. And it's, the reason I like it more, it's because it's something I know is going to work for somebody. It's something that, it's tangible, not like, oh, this person purchased a course. I don't necessarily know if they're going to, do it or not. Now, we've had amazing success. We actually have awards. They're like right there. We have our own awards, similar to Clickfunnels. Like we have a $10,000 per month, $50,000 per month, and 7-figure awards, which, we have had a ton of students hit. But again, as I look at the business and where I want e-commerce empire builders to go, I'm looking at it more so like, how do we get this more like, of course we have programs, but, I really want to focus on the service-based businesses. There's bigger contracts out there, right? Like, let's say you find one big e-commerce brand out there and you can handle all of their advertisements, you can handle all their funnel builds, right? That could be a 7-figure a year contract that you have, right? As opposed to, a course, right? So that's just my kind of, where I'm leaning towards. Not saying, we have both services and programs, self-study stuff. But yeah.
So is that like your new ambition of like developing like your services, getting those large contracts, for example, or like do you still really work into like Untappd focus? You want that to be like a huge beverage, you know, kind of like
Mhm.
a disruptor in like in the beverage industry.
Yeah, so it's it's that's the tough part, right? Because it's a mixture of both, right? Like for Untappd, we have some funnels that we're currently developing for Untappd. We already have some new ideas for our next products for Untappd, right? So it's this is where the team really comes into play here, right? Because a lot of the heavy lifting as far as advertising and stuff for Untappd is handled by the same team that does EEB, right? So like I said, we have a lot of people here that do that. But it's one of those things. It's tough, man. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, this isn't like, we work all day long. It's not, we get to have a good time too. Like, I always love taking the team out on like trips and stuff and have a good time. But when we're working, like we're really working like pretty much all day long. There's a lot of projects that we have going on. As for Untappd, we do have some new products that we have in mind. We have, a free plus shipping offer that we want to launch here shortly for Untappd Focus, which is going to be like sample packets for people to try, because it's an expensive product. It's about $80 a bottle. So, a lot of people might not want to buy that without trying a sample first. So we're going to be doing a free plus shipping sample packs on that. And then we have some new product ideas for that as well. As for EEB, of course we'll have, our programs moving more towards some service-based stuff that we're doing as well. We do a lot of funnel builds and launches for people managing their ads, which is what excites me a lot about it, because it's like, hey, it is, hands off to an extent for people. But that way I get to sleep. I go to sleep knowing, hey, you know what, like, we built this person a business, we launched it, and, not like it's a course sale. I don't know if you're going to do it or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of where, where I'm currently at. Obviously I have a lot of other stuff going on with our, we have our affiliate marketing business is a 7-figure business in itself. So that's obviously a whole nother business. Our real estate, sales, insurance. So there's a lot of my time is spent, focusing on business structure, surrounding myself with, people that help me. Like, how do you structure it? Because once you get that money, right, it's all about now keeping that money. It's not about going to spend it on some crazy stuff. It's about, focusing in on like what kind of strategies and tax plans can I put this in to create wealth.
So it's really important to like have a team, because you allocate a lot of your time in many different businesses. So you have a new kid, so you definitely have to her. So yeah, I mean, I think what you're doing is really, really cool. And like, I think if you don't have a team, it would have been like almost impossible to do.
It's impossible, man. Yeah.
So you definitely need that. So yeah, Peter. So where can people like find your new product, Untappd Focus? Where can they potentially learn about e-commerce, dropshipping, Clickfunnels, and more about your platforms?
Yeah, so if you guys just go to peterprue.com, right? That's simple. You can learn about Untappd there. You can learn about e-commerce empire builders there, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff as well.
Cool. And how about your podcast? Are you going on like how many episodes, or is that like something new?
Oh man, we have, I don't even know, 600 plus podcasts. It's this is a piece of advice for anybody that wants to get into the whole personal branding space is, just go out there every day and put content. When I first started my YouTube channel, I think I did 2 years. I did a piece of content every single day for 2 years. I think we have close to 800 videos on the podcast, on the YouTube channel. And I can tell you, like, dude, the personal branding side of things is like the hardest thing I've ever done compared to like an e-commerce business, which you can have up and running in a week. The personal branding stuff, it's tough out there, but if you're willing to go and put your face out there, talk about whatever it is that you like talking about every single day, you can make a business out of it, right? You see tons of huge personal brands making, a killing.
Yeah, it's definitely more of like a long-term thing, and over time you can use that like to leverage it to like distribute it to your other channels that you want to show people and whatnot.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Peter, I think we learned a lot about your business under like what your portfolio looked like. And yeah, I'm really looking into like your podcast. I want to listen to a few episodes and look at Untappd Focus, because I'm not a coffee person myself. I drink more tea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to try one of your products.
Yeah, try it out, man. Let us know how it goes. It's 100%. I love caffeine. Me personally, I know like there is like there's always somebody. There's people that don't like it. There's people that like it. Fortunately, it's not like pumped up like a Starbucks coffee or something like that. I think we only have 100 milligrams of caffeine, which is like a typical cup of coffee. It's not like a Starbucks coffee, which gets up to like 300, milligrams, or some of those other products. Like I always wanted something that didn't give jitters or crashes or anything like that. Because, that happens when you drink like a Red Bull or like some Starbucks thing. So yeah, we're proud of it.
Wait, can you add it to any other drink, or it has to be like in water?
I mean, I love it with seltzer, like sparkling water. I think it's
Okay.
delicious out of that. But you could, I'm sure you can. I haven't put it into anything else, but I'm sure you can.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. I'll definitely try that out, Peter. All right. So I
awesome.
definitely appreciate your time. And yeah,